Want to talk here about something called beltane coincidences. In the past week or so, man, there's been a lot of stuff going on, both craziness and celebratory type of things. And it's crazy how these things all coincide with this holiday called beltane, where it's basically a sacrificial holiday and they burn shit and there's a bunch of listen, I'm not into the occult and all this witchcraft and shizzle. I mean, I don't care about their pagan holidays too much, other than as much to know what's going on so I know what to look out for. It's like, this is a good week where do I gotta stay on guard with my fucking camped out looking for occultists, man, coming to try to do some kind of sacrificial shit. That's too good to know the occultist forecast. You know what I'm saying? But so far, we've had this Olympic torch games. They lit up the torch, and it coincides with Beltane. What would you know? That you had the Queen's birthday. I mean, here's another thing. People don't know this. When we was growing up, there's all this 420 talk about it. Man, it's time to smoke weed, and it was this big hippie thing. Hippies adopt a lot of neopagan ideologies, man. If you're into hippie crowds, you're gonna catch a lot of that New Ager, hippie, theosophist type of thinking. But anyway, people don't. I didn't realize this, but 420 is Hitler's birthday, and it also starts that the Beltane feast. So, a year ago, I got beamed, man, in this house right here, dude, on 420, man. I didn't recognize it was 420 till a few days later, thinking back on what happened to me. And, dude, I seen a machine, dude. It's called crowd control. And they got this machine that emits microwave emitters, and it basically burns the inside of your body from the inside out. And it's like, basically, it's for crowd control. And so, I mean, the technology exists for them to hit you with one of these. I mean, can't prove it now. And then a few days after that, I heard how they successfully lasered a car from space, or from a plane, the Air Force did or some shit, around the same time frame. But it's all 420, Hitler's birthday, which was a hardcore heavy neo-pagan. I mean, the Ragstag event and the Night of the Long Knives, that's a blood sacrifice. So, I mean, in here, we got Prince died mysteriously. You know what I'm saying? Which they're alluding that it's a sacrifice. You had China, you had Merle Haggard, you had Glenn Fry. These people are all got murked just recently, like building up to this event. And then I seen a neo-pagan neo-Nazi rally on RT. So that's happening during Beltane. So listen, your Nazi ideology, your fascism, your corporatism, merger of corporations and state, is based on this neo-fascist, eco-fascist, blood sacrifice lifestyle society. It's all based, I mean, Hitler just borrowed these neo-pagan philosophies from Baal worshippers, aka sun worshippers, nature worshippers. Like, basically, you impregnate the earth with the blood of the slain, and then that will then it'll transfer to the sun, which will give us good crops this year or whatever, dude. I mean, or that's your light worker overview, but your dark satan, they'll be like, straight up, we're making covenants with demons and devils and fallen little g gods for worldly advances. Basically, that's straight up what it's all about. Let me think, man. What else happened, man? I know there was more that happened just recently, this past week, since like basically the 22nd. And this is a big festival. It's not a one-day thing. It's like a time period where these people get silly and let it all hang out, let their scare down. You know what I'm saying? So I can only imagine what's been going on. I know one of my cats from our house disappeared during this time frame too. So, I mean, if there's a satanic coven around here, I don't know. Maybe they are trying to work extra voodoo over this way because they've been watching the YouTube videos or whatever. I don't know. But, just strange coincidences. I had my 22nd, 23rd ominous bad feeling. Like, just premonitory type of a feeling. Also seen that, look, there's been massive earthquakes around the planet. There has been, they also did the Triumph Arch, which is basically, look, they're saying we're doing this to defy ISIS. ISIS is Baal's wife. That arch to Baal, well, that's his wife. In other words, in allegory, they're saying, ha 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 ha, look, Baal smacks his wife up. You know what I'm saying? Because ISIS is Baal's wife. So how can you protest ISIS by taking her husband that she gathered his 13 body parts and created the stone 14th between the legs? That's in Washington. You know, yeah, how can you, you know, it's like, oh, you know, it's kind of like that, oh, you can't, I don't know, man, yeah, it don't make no sense. It's skewed logic, man. It's like loaded logic, man. Like they protest and they present these kind of questions in such a way to get a certain result. You know what I'm saying? From a skewed perspective, man. It's kind of like seeding the atmosphere with these seeds of deception, and it's acclamation as well. It's like, because it's like, it doesn't matter now if we're against it. We're still acclimating people to seeing these things, so in the future when we come outright with it, they'll be less likely to resist through the slow incremental chipping away at your guard. You know what I'm saying? Your awareness. Like, that's one way, is not to hide from the awareness. It's to blend in, because you've been there so long that they don't see you as a threat anymore. But that's the long-term game. They do that in ways. They desensitize you to something that later is going to come up to bite you. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. But yeah, this is all the same. It's all, and obviously there must be something to it. If they actually, the CERN machine fired up to the point where it went off the radar, went off the scale, and then they said a weasel attacked the wire, and it went in the readings went down. Well, no, dude, they were successful with whatever they're trying to do. Listen, Tesla, who built the CERN, basically, he split it up into 1,000 pieces in all these countries, and he said, when you all unite together as one, you can have this. So in other words, it's the doomsday weapon. He said, with the right frequency and energy voltage, I can make the earth ring like a bell and then crack in half. You know what I'm saying? And look, the whole earth shook when CERN, coinciding with CERN being on full fire, and then they shut it all down. So I mean, you got the Prince death, you got that Baal, you got Earth Day is during Beltane. I mean, I'm just saying, come on, man, Beltane coincidences, man. There's a lot of them, dude, and it's like now you can go back through the years, look at events that happen or strings or trends of events. And look how many coincide within these dates. You know what I'm saying? You can look into it. I don't know. I'm no expert. Other people made me privy to it. You know, and like I said, that's not my main area of research is witchcraft and hardcore occultic rituals. Why do I need to study any of that? Because I know it's all demonic. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, all you got to do is just have an overview, know about it. There's no reason to delve too deep into it, because you can't delve that deep into it without participating in it. And that's not what you're supposed to do. You're inviting spirits and powers and principalities into your life. And like I said, man, look, it feels to me through my ominous bad feeling on the 22nd, like, look, they did something. There's something changed, something shifted a little bit, and I felt it, man, and it gave me an uneasy, queasy kind of feeling. You know, and I could just sense it. In a way, it's like they're gaining momentum or steam or intensity and fury. You know, they're building up. They're like storing up all these little events, these vampiric energy harvesting rituals, and they're like storing it in something, and eventually it's going to turn into like a spirit bomb that just goes off and everyone goes babe shit crazy. Well, most people who are, you know, either people who are in the covenant with these forces, or the ones that don't want to accept either way, that are just kind of like cannon fodder for they really are literally cattle for spirits. ones that don't acknowledge God or the devil, those are the most pimped on, vamped of the people on the planet. But at least those that are in agreement with it, no, they're submitting their vampirage. And from us, they got to trick us into situations where we're weak, and then they can still vamp on us a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, you can resist, and they have to flee. It's just part of the thing. But you know what I'm saying? You got to stay in active resistance to this shit. And if you can't really do nothing to stop it, the next best thing you can do is publicly withdraw your consent and be like, no, I didn't have nothing in no part of that. And I don't want nothing in no part of that. And it's causing, there's bad reactions going on. And you can see it through the earthquakes and shit. And all the, there's been all kinds of like, tornadoes, hailstones falling. I mean, these are, listen, earthquakes, fire, hailstone, storms, whirlwinds, calamities are one of the definitions for a judgment of God. So you got this bathroom war, the bathroom wars. How retarded is this, man? I mean, I can't believe I live in such a weird society, man, that just is just so confused, and just basically almost confused to the point of backwards. You know what I'm saying? It's like now you're trying to, maybe we always were kind of backwards to a way. You know what I'm saying? And now just waking up and becoming aware of it makes it even worse. But look, since we were always off balance from the beginning, they've twisted some people a lot farther than they got to twist people in my generation and the people before, even though they got some of them too. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no one immune from the devices of Satan. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no one immune from that. You know what I'm saying? It's real crazy, but right now it's like, yeah, everything's so bad, man, that it's like it's evident and obvious. Like, man, dude, this is crazy. It wasn't like this when I was a kid, man. This is real bad. This is like not good. This is like, I never expected it to really be like this. You know what I'm saying? I always expected just the world end. You know what I'm saying? Like, but this long, drawn out, slow, crawling approach, man, is a lot, because it's like, you know it's coming, and the more you gotta sit there and know it's coming, and the longer it takes, the more it also says, you know, you gotta endure through these things. So it never said it was a sprint race. It's always been a long race. So keep that in mind too, man. That it's like, it's, you know, yeah, you'll see the enemy coming from far off, man. Just watch them crawl and crawl. But I mean, it's like eventually they get to where they're going, and then you see the armies amassing, and we ain't heard the bugle yet, but you can hear the clatter of shield and sword and spear and hoof of the horse, you know, and you can see the dust clouds, man, and see their torches at night and all that good mess, basically, like literally in the Beltane coincidences zone. That's literally, that like really kind of literally, man. Yeah, I can feel the evil that's going on right now. I ain't never if this ever happened to me before, maybe this happens every year and I just didn't realize it, but this year it's extra strong because maybe there's more participants this year, and it's the day and the time is just right, and they got all more of their stuff. They've kicked open some of the doors, the barriers now, and there's more. You're catching a bigger expression of this thing, because yeah, I guess I always did have kind of like times where I'd have the bad ominous feeling, and I didn't realize, you know, I didn't take into consideration that these people are doing rituals every year diligently and with impunity, basically, because I mean, they can make Kennedy disappear and go down and frame some guy. They can do that to anyone. So like I said, no one's immune from Satan and his devices. You know what I'm saying? Because when I say Satan and his devices, it doesn't necessarily have to get all metaphysical. It could be as simple as a conspiracy to take out the fucking president and frame someone else. That's the devices of Satan, as well as the Beltane rituals. You know what I'm saying? So just there's a lot of a lot of coincidences, man. There ain't no such thing as coincidences.